Hey guys, today I wanted to do a little one-on-one about art journaling. So, to begin with, one of the common questions I get is, but how do you pick your art journal? What's the difference between this one and this one? So I decided to kind of go through the ones that I have and tell you a bit more about why I choose one over the other and what's the differences to me. Of course, everyone's art journaling process is different and we don't all do the same thing in our journals, so our needs are different. So this is just about me doing mixed media in my art journal and what I figured out over the years that works for me. So I hope it will be helpful. So as you can see, I have a pile of different journals there. They're all very different, and some I have used in the beginning and I don't use anymore. And this is very, very eclectic. So when I began art journaling, everyone was telling, use a Moleskine, or this is how I pronounce it, Moleskine, I don't know. To me it's Moleskine. I will write somewhere so you can see what I talk about. The pages are pretty thick, but as you can see, I had to attach some wax paper because it was, as you can see, sticking together a lot. So this one is an old one and I just gave up on it. I gave up, and I know some people still love it, but I love that brand, but for other purpose. I love their other journals. See, every single page stick together, even with primer and everything. So, well, if you have any suggestions about how to make it work. I've heard that you can add baby powder, like a very light coat of baby powder, and it will avoid the sticking. But I don't know. See, every single one. And it made me sad to kind of lose the pages, see? It's... So that's when I began, in 2008. No, not good for me. Then you have sketchbook-like notepad. This one I wanted to use as an art journal, but the pages are too thin. So, for example, these are ink sprays play, and see how it bleeds through? And I tried with gessoing first, and it was not working. So instead I used that as a regular sketchbook with graphite and sometimes charcoal. You really need to think, what do I want to do in my art journal? Do I want to do light sketches with ink and graphite pencil? Do I want to do collage work? Do I want to do mixed media? And you can do a bit of everything in your art journal. That's usually what happens to me. But this is the first thing you need to think through. What do I want to explore? Which media? Because when you do mixed media, the page can get very, very thick and heavy. And sometimes the paper is not strong enough for that. So what I do too is I bind easy journals. This is made with watercolor paper, the smooth kind. That's, I think it's 300 GSM. It's the Fabriano one that I really, really love. And so what I do is I buy the big 22 by 30 inches sheet of paper, and then I tear it because I like the ragged edges better, but you can cut if you want, that's up to you. And then it's just an easy 3-hole binding. And what I did in the past is plain one journal like that, and once finished I took, for example, see they are about the same size, took several ones and I did bind them together to make a bigger finished journal. It can be interesting too. And you can find plenty of tutorials online on how to bind your own journals and books. And this is one of my favorite things because there's not a lot of pages, so it's not very time consuming, or I found that there's less pressure on my shoulders if there's few pages than, for example, this kind of journals that is way thicker. And that's the same done with the sketchbook. This one, the pages are just way too thin for mixed media. So I will figure something else to do with it. And as you can see, you can do a lot of different shapes, and you can even add ephemera paper and make inclusions in your journals to make it even more interesting. And this one is sticking too because of all the gel medium I used to glue. So I guess I will try the baby powder thing. We'll see how it goes, right? And I really love the fact that I can bind my own journals easily. This is the easiest one, and I have tried different way of binding. I like this one too. And the same, I use thick paper together, and I can do whatever I want. And it's still an easy binding because I have wrist strength issues, so binding is not always the easiest thing for me because you need to keep the tension of the thread going, and sometimes it's difficult for me, but I do it anyway. Another of my favorite is the Delusion journal. So this is my current one. I use the square right now because I wanted to see how different it was. And I love that the cover is craft, so you can customize it however you want. I have not used the pocket much, but it's there. And then they changed the paper because people were complaining at the beginning. And this is like an amazing thick paper. And as you can see, this spread is not finished, but it gives you an idea. There's collage, there's ink, there's gesso underneath, there's tea. Yes, there's tea. And it doesn't bleed through at all. And see, it takes everything beautifully. Yes, it's got stuck, but I love what it does actually. And it doesn't bleed through. And trust me when I say I go heavy on my media, I do go heavy on my media. It's layers and layers and layers. So I do recommend that Delusions journal. And so this is the square one. This is the small one, and the biggest, like normal size, is packed already because maybe you know I'm moving right now. But they have a like bigger size too, and they each have the pocket inside. Let's see, all the ink, no bleeding. So I do recommend this one. It's not cheap, just so you know, but you can find coupons everywhere, right? And it's worth the money to me. So yes, what you need to think about is what do I want to do, and the thickness of the paper is what matters the most when you pick your art journal. So I hope it was helpful, and see you next time in the next tutorial. Bye!